Larry dribbles up the court, surveying the floor. Goes up for the shot, and boom goes the dynamite. Boom goes the dynamite? Who says that? Alright, let's try this again. Chicago with the rebound. Raptors gotta get back on defense. OG, oh, what a block by OG. Get that garbage out of here. Huh. Wait, that's Jack Armstrong's catchphrase. And that was cool, but I can't use his. Alright, let's try this one more time. Larry dribbles up the court. Nice pass to Siakam for three. Got it! Right from Hamilton, Ontario. Wait a minute. That's Matt Devlin's catchphrase. I think I need some expert help here. As you can see, calling play-by-play for a sporting event isn't as easy as it might seem. And this year in particular has been challenging. Raptors play-by-play announcer Matt Devlin has been calling games for the team since 2008. And Raptors analyst and color commentator Jack Armstrong has been calling games for them since 2000. But throughout 2020 and 2021, the two broadcast veterans faced a new challenge in their career: calling games remotely. Because of the pandemic, they were forced to watch games from Toronto and make their signature calls from a studio instead of courtside, which is what they've done for the majority of their careers. And I got the chance to sit down with Matt and Jack to talk about this unprecedented time in their career and maybe pick up a few tips along the way. Hi, Mr. Armstrong. My name is Arjun. I'm a contributor for CBC.
Yeah, how you doing? How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Let me just get my phone set up here, and we'll be good to go. Hi.
Arjun, how you doing, buddy? Good?
I'm good, Mr. Devlin. I'm really good.
Call me Matt, please.
Matt, you're calling games from Canada or in Toronto while the team is playing in Tampa, and I want to know, what's it like calling games for an NBA team when you're in a specific country and they're playing elsewhere?
RJ, it's difficult. It's not easy.
Well, it's been a transition, and I think that we all have to be adaptable and flexible during these times.
You have to generate your own enthusiasm and excitement. And, so you got to come really prepared, really ready to go.
The biggest thing is just a connection, right? And so much of what we do in what we're able to convey to viewers, you get those little nuggets when you're around the team every single day.
So I stand the entire night. I just try to pace and keep my energy going because if you're watching a game, you got to feel a little bit of juice, a little excitement, a little pop.
But in the grand scheme of things, we're all just so happy to be announcing games and seeing the ball go up in the air and ultimately just calling what we have in front of us. For me, at least, just the joy of, quite possibly giving everybody about a 2.5 hour kind of window of just having some basketball in their lives, and you hope that it brings a smile to everybody's face.
Do you think that the absence of fans for Toronto has made an impact on their play?
Yes, definitely. If you look at them the last 7 years in their great playoff run, they were really, really good at home.
As far as probably having the most challenging year, no question, there's been many coaches, whether, Steve Kerr, when Golden State was in town, he talked about how, the Raptors have faced probably more challenges than anyone. Not only, is it the daily health and safety protocols of the NBA, but they had to pick up and move to Tampa, Florida.
I think they have one of the best home court advantages in the NBA because they draw capacity crowds every night. They're in the top 5 every year in the NBA in attendance. So when you don't have that to feed off of, that's an edge. Usually, in my opinion, that's an edge that might give you 3 to 5 points in a game.
Talking to Nick Nurse about this season, he has said that the 72 games in which they play, there really aren't any home games. They're all road games. And that's just, the way of the season that it's gone, given what we're dealing with. And so they've done the best, I think, that you could quite possibly hope for given everything that has happened.
And one thing many fans love about the two of you when you call games are your signature catchphrases. Of course, yours, you have bucket and book it, and then you have the three from wherever. Sometimes I can confuse it with places in Canada, I believe it is, right? And you did that especially during the 2019 championship run. Where did those catchphrases come about?
Bucket and book it. Bucket is everybody, like when somebody makes a shot, it's a bucket. You know, you make a bucket. And then book it because you have a statistician that is there that's actually putting that in the book.
That is
right?
That's interesting. I never thought that was the reason why.
Yeah, bucket and book it. The towns, it's interesting. So many people, through the years, people will use a phrase, oh, he made that shot all the way from, right? And it just so happened that the first time I did it was maybe 8 seasons ago, and it was Kyle, and he made like a deep three. And I remember just saying, that's all the way from Mississauga. Well, people started to get, they started to kind of like it, right? And I felt that after doing it for a little while, you'd hear from fans on social media requesting their towns or cities. Wow. And I felt that, I don't know, kind of brings everybody together across the whole country. Where
did your catchphrases come about, from get that garbage out of here to buckets to hello, like out of nowhere? Where did they come about?
Well, the get that garbage out of here just comes from playing basketball in the schoolyards in Brooklyn. I cannot remember the year that I first said it, but I saw an incredible block by a Raptor player, but I just said garbage. And it came out at our director at the time, Troy Clara, who is now with the Toronto Blue Jays. He said to me, he goes, Jackie, that's pure gold. I love it. I said, what do you mean? He goes, I love that, get that garbage out of here. He goes, you should use that on block shots. He goes, it's fun and it's energizing. So that, and, buckets, kind of the same thing, just talking smack in the schoolyard, hello, wow. I'm impressed. I'm impressed. So I use hello now as when I'm really impressed by a play, I use hello. And the same thing, now that we have Chris Boucher on the team, and we also have Ken Birch, a few guys from Montreal, the whole French thing. So I throw in the bonjour as well. Yeah. Same thing for hello. So again, just trying to have fun with it.
Despite the obstacles this year has presented, it's cool to see how they've relied on their chemistry and collective energy to make calls exciting and interesting for all the fans watching at home. And it was pretty cool to hear how they came up with those signature catchphrases. And speaking of which, it's about that time that I try and work on that again. So let's try this again. Boom goes the dynamite. No. Pop goes the weasel. That doesn't even make sense. Okay, let's try this one more time. Take out the recycling. Take out the recycling? Who says that? Okay, this might take a while, so I'm gonna let you go. For CBC Kids News, I'm Arjun.